me, right? Silly me. I should have known better. I know I should have known better. But he was not giving that vibe. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Jasmine Davis, also known as the Black Salmon. If you've been here already, how are you doing? I'm glad to see you back. And if this is your first time viewing my video, hello. Nice to meet you. I'm happy you are here. What is it, boo? Today, I will be doing a story time. It's gonna be a short story because it wasn't more than 2 months, maybe 3 months. Today, I will be talking about how an older man swindled me into going on a date with him. I know, it sounds kind of weird, but we're gonna get into it. In order for me to start this story off, I have to give you kind of a background. I moved to New Jersey, Jersey City, last year in August. I've been here for about a year and a couple months, whatever. In February, I went to a place called the Left Paw in Long Island, and I purchased a puppy who was an Anatolian Shepherd. I do have Theo, who's a Labradoodle. He was given to me in a parking lot. I have Winnie at home, who is the Anatolian Shepherd, at home with my parents because I live in an apartment and it just would not work out. I don't have enough room. I can't walk 2 dogs with no elevator, and my job is very demanding. But other than that, I got Winnie in February. When I had Winnie, I would go out, walk her, and there was this guy who had a similar dog to Winnie. Winnie is an Anatolian Shepherd. He had something called a Turkish Shepherd. These 2 dogs get really big. Winnie's huge right now. So I would walk Winnie, and I would all of a sudden see him outside walking his dog. Mind you, I've been in my apartment at this time since August. It is now February, early March. So I'm outside walking Winnie. I meet this guy. We're gonna call him Dave. I'm not gonna give his real name. We're gonna call him Dave. He comes outside. Oh my God, you have a beautiful dog. I have a very similar dog inside. I live on the 1st floor. Hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna get him. I wasn't alarmed. I wasn't scared. We were right in front of a park. We're right in front of a bus stop. My street is very busy, so I wasn't alarmed. I wasn't scared. And Winnie's kind of big, and she don't play that. She was a big puppy. So I wasn't too scared. So he comes outside with a dog that looks just like my dog. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, we do have similar dogs. Like, this breed is so rare, especially in cities. We kind of bonded on the fact that we had the same dog. Mind you, I'm a 20-something. I'm 27. He's an older man. He looks like he's my parents' age. He is visually older. It's no question that he is out of my age range of what I'm willing to date. And he has no business dating me. You gotta get down. I'm trying to do a YouTube video, please. Please, stop, please. So I started to notice that every single time that I would walk Winnie, Dave would be outside with his dog, walking his dog. So I live by a park. Every time I'm at the park, when I'm walking back home to my apartment, Dave is outside with his dog. I always thought it was a little funny, a little too coincidental, but I just chalked it up to everybody's outside with their dogs, because that's literally how it is over here. Everyone has a dog and everyone's outside with their dog. Fast forward to March. I got Theo March 19th of this year. Someone gave him to me in a Cabela's parking lot. I will tell that story probably later on too. So now I have Theo and I have Winnie. I made the decision that since Theo was really young and there's other dogs at my parents' house and Winnie's a lot bigger than Theo at this time, that Winnie would go live with my parents. Still haven't gotten her back, but it is what it is. Now I have Theo and I'm outside with Theo, and here comes Dave outside with his dog now saying, oh my God, Theo's such a great looking dog. He's so stately. And he just really fell in love with Theo, as everyone does. Theo's adorable. So now every time I'm outside with Theo, yet and still, Dave is outside with his dog. So one particular day, I wound up seeing Dave and we're both headed out to the park at the same time. So he was like, hey, like, you want to take a walk with me? Can we walk together? I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, because we see each other in passing all the time. As we were walking, we started to talk, and, we talked about my job. We talked about, me having my bachelor's degree. We talked about him, and, he wound up being a professor, and he had his PhD. And I strive to have my PhD one day. So I kind of took to him as a mentor, and I'm the mentee. that's kind of how I viewed our relationship as we started to get to know each other, seeing each other outside with our dogs. That's the only time we would ever spend time with each other, is if I'm walking my dog and he's walking his dog, and we'll walk together. And we'll talk about how to go about me getting my master's degree, how he got his PhD, whether I should skip my master's and go straight to the PhD. So that's kind of how our conversations would go. No flirting, no funny business, not too much of anything personal, nothing like that. One day we were talking outside, it was really late. I wound up walking Theo really late at night, and he walked me to my door. Mind you, he's in the building right next to my building, so he's kind of like a next door neighbor, basically. So he walked me to my door, and we continued to talk, and he was telling me, oh, well, you live by yourself. I'm like, yeah, I live alone, but my parents are very aware of where I'm at and what I'm doing all the time. Like, I don't want him doing nothing funny to me. I don't want him thinking that he could, take advantage of me, because I got stuff in my bag and in my pocket. So this particular night, he says, hey, Jasmine, why don't we go out? We can discuss like a game plan as to how you can get your, So the next day, I wound up seeing him again. I ran into him coincidental very often. I want to say maybe 5 times a week, 5 days out of the 7-day week, I would run into him while walking Theo, because he's walking his dog. So one particular day, he was like, hey, do you want to take me up on discussing how to go about your master's degree, how to apply, where to apply, how to choose which PhD program is best for you? I said, okay, cool. Because I wanted to at least start my master's program fall of this year, 2021. That didn't go as planned, but I digress. So he says, okay, so you put Theo in your apartment, I'll put my dog in my apartment, and we'll drive and get something to eat really quickly, and we can discuss a game plan for you and how to hire your education. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Someone who has gotten their PhD, someone who has done their dissertation, who has papers published, someone who's a professor, someone who is a prestige, someone who I look up to say, hey, maybe one day I want to do this, because, he was traveling around, studying for his PhD, just living a really good life through education, which seems really nice, seems pretty cool to me. So naturally, I took him up on this offer. Mind you, no flirtation, no funny business has happened at this point in time. Of course, he's a man and he's thrown out there, oh, well, you're not going to go on any dates, or, oh, at your age, you should be dating. Things that my father would say to me, my uncle would say to me, my grandfather would say to me, any older person, male, female, would say to me. Nothing insinuating that he's trying to date me, though. So I never took it any weird way. Fast forward to us going to eat. I took Theo up to my apartment. He took his dog into his apartment, and we went to go eat. We're talking about where I went to school, talking about sports for me, how my basketball career went. We were talking about how he kind of rose in his education and where he came from, his background, and things of that nature. So we are talking about what we came to talk about while we're eating food. All of a sudden, this man says, I'm really happy you took me up on my offer to go out on a date like I didn't think you would. He goes, I thought that the age difference would bother you. I literally sat back in my chair like, Dave, this isn't a date. We were supposed to discuss school, me going about my master's, my PhD. I said, if I had known you liked me in this way, I wouldn't be here right now. He was like, oh, really? What do you mean? And he was like, I thought we were on the same page. He swindled me. Swindled. Never been swindled like that ever in my life. He got me. Got me, honey. Got me. I said, I feel a little uncomfortable because I didn't think that we were on that page. I thought that you were trying to help me out in something that I've been trying to do for a while. And due to the age gap, I didn't think you would want to cross that boundary. Silly me, right? Silly me. I should have known better. I know I should have known better. But he was not giving that vibe. I was not giving that vibe. We were not out here, flirting and, oh yeah. No, it was nothing like that. We literally talked about papers. We talked about college credits. We talked about different college classes. We talked about the courses that he's taught. We talked about the courses that I want to take. Never did we ever say, oh, my favorite food is sushi. Oh, I like to take long walks in a park. That's why we're, no. When I tell you guys, we never talked about personal interests. We never talked about anything that would make me feel like he would want to take me on a date. Yes, I am a woman. Yes, he is a man. Yes, human nature comes into play. But he's pushing 60. I'm not even 30 yet. And he would always make a comment referencing my age and how young I am. I never thought that he would cross that boundary. I really didn't. I really didn't. And it's so funny. Everything comes to bite me in my ass, and I have to be careful with what I say and what I put into the world, because I used to say to my friend Guzzy, and I used to say to my friend D, oh, this older guy is a handsome older man, but he's just too old for me. It bit me in the ass. It really did. Let's go back to the setting of this so-called date that I'm on, that I didn't know I was on. So he asked me if I felt uncomfortable. I said, yes, I feel very uncomfortable. But when I said that, he looked extremely upset. Not mad upset, but kind of like sad upset. I foiled his plan. I think he thought that once I got out on this date with him and got him alone without his dog and my dog, that I would just see how great of a person he is. He was tired of Theo cock blocking him. A 60-year-old man. Oh my God. But it is not lost on me that he really tried to swindle me into this date. I know he knew that I was not feeling that vibe. I know that he knew that I was not on that page with him that he was on, thinking that he was inviting me on a date. He thought that he would get me in this restaurant and my mind would change, or I would be open to going out on a date with him. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. I'm young, but I'm not stupid. He asks me if I want him to get the check so that we can leave. I said, yeah, I would really like to get the check, and I would really like to head home, because I would hate to lead you on in this way, and I don't want the date to continue with the intention of you thinking that we're on a date. He drove. So now I'm thinking like, damn, I gotta get back in this man's car. So I told him like, hey, you know, I'll just take the bus. I'll take the train. I'll take the bus. Like, it's no big deal. He said, no, don't be silly. We live right next door to each other, basically. Like, I'll take you home. No hard feelings. It's fine. Second mistake of the night. Second mistake. We get in the car. It's dead silent. So quiet. He opens his mouth and says, you're just so mature to be 27. I really like you, Jasmine. I feel like any well-rounded 27-year-old will behave the way that I behave. I feel like any well-rounded 27-year-old, when they meet someone of his caliber, someone that they want to learn from, they will behave the way that I behaved. I didn't flirt with him. I didn't tell him that I was alone. I didn't talk about my dating life too much, if at all. I never brought anything like that up. And he didn't bring it up either. I don't know if this man has been married. I don't know if he is divorced. I don't know if he has children, because we did not talk about things like that. He swindled me into this date, y'all. Now, let me tell y'all how awkward it has been to live in this area. I just seen him today after not seeing him for months. You want to know what's hilarious? Like I told you before I got Winnie or even Theo, I had not seen this man. I had not met this man. I've seen almost everybody in this neighborhood. I've seen almost everybody that lives in his building, the building across the street from me. I'm familiar with the faces of the people in my area. Before I got Winnie or Theo, I had never met him. I think he used to stay in his apartment like a recluse. So as soon as I got my dog, all of a sudden I'm seeing his dog. All of a sudden I'm seeing him. Fast forward to me telling him that I don't want to date him, that this is not a date that we're on. He gave his dog away, and he no longer has a dog. The dog was a tactic. I got swindled from the very beginning. Come on now. Come on. Come on. After I found out that he gave his dog away, he texted me and said, hey, I really hope I didn't make you uncomfortable. I just remember you saying that You would also like to have someone to talk to, but I don't know what I did on my end to make you feel uncomfortable. Sir, you swindled me. I've been swindled. I've been bamboozled. I've been hoodwinked. I've been tricked. Y'all. When I tell you, I have to pay more attention to when people are flirting with me. People my age, I'm oblivious. So him especially, I had no clue. I have to pay more attention. The lesson that I have learned in this story, the lesson that I have learned in this situation is, do not underestimate any man in this world. You never know. You never know. Another lesson I have learned is rarely are there ever no strings attached, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Now, if he was at least 40, I probably would have, No, I wouldn't have him lying. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video of me getting bamboozled, swindled into a date. Who's ever heard of that? Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this very short story time. I have more to come. This is not the only crazy thing that has happened to me. But, you know, Mr. Dave is out here living his best life, I think. I don't know. I awkwardly saw him today and looked the other way. I'll keep you updated on how that goes. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys' support. People are subscribing and I'm so full. I can't wait to bring more to you. I'm going to try to stay consistent. I told you. I'm going to post this video on a Monday. Technically, it's not 7 days between the last video, but we going. We pushing. I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm doing my best. So like, subscribe, leave a comment, push the bell for notifications if you want to see more of me. If you don't, that's okay. Just don't leave a mean comment because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.